And welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, currently by myself. Maybe some other people will join. We will see here in a bit. If not, it might be another solo show. But that is totally fine. Yesterday, the picks I gave out were pretty good. 5-2 yesterday. The picks that I gave out, including a plus 130 with Toronto run line, plus 114 with San Diego first five, and plus 115 with San Diego money line. It was a good day yesterday. So we'll move on to today. I have the games broken down into sets of 4 here. So I'll start with Arizona and Pittsburgh. A game I actually like. Surprisingly, Arizona has been much better. Both these teams actually have been much better than expected this year. They both bottom feeders, especially Pittsburgh for a long time. But Pittsburgh 23-28, Arizona 26-28. It's a little bit unexpected here. Arizona is as good as they are because of their starting pitching. Zach Gallen has pitched great for Arizona. One bad start against Kansas City, but other than that, he's pitched really well. So I'm taking Arizona first 5 here on the run line minus a half, minus 105. I look for them to be leading after 5 innings. What's up, Turnsy? So I like Arizona first 5 in the first game. Cleveland, Baltimore. I didn't get to it. Plesac and Creamer. Creamer hasn't pitched yet this year, but was really bad when he has pitched. Zach Plesac on the other side. He has pitched two of his last 3 games were really good, and then the one against Houston, 4.2 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned runs. That wasn't a good game. So I don't exactly know what I'm going to get from him. And the Guardians, so I'm not going to touch that game. The Angels and Philadelphia. Richie P, smash a like. Thanks, appreciate it. Angels in Philadelphia. This Angels team is on free fall. After a really good start to the season, I believe they've lost 10 in a row now. It's just been, they're 27-27 on the year and are just in total free fall. But they do have a good pitcher today, Patrick Sandoval. Other than his last game against the Blue Jays, he's pitched really well this year so far. Gibson on the other side for the Phillies has also pitched pretty well. In his last 3 games, 2 no decisions and a loss, but he hasn't given up. He's given up 2 earned runs in each game. Playing San Francisco, Atlanta, San Diego. I think this is a good spot for the Phillies. Since the coaching change, they played very well the last 2 games. So I'm taking Philadelphia first 5 minus a half, plus 120. I like Philadelphia after 5 innings. Their bullpen has been good the last 2 games. Their pitching has been pretty good. So I wouldn't talk anybody off full game, but I'll be taking Philly first 5. Bryant, what's up?
What's going on, man? Sorry, I was at brunch.
Hey, no worries. Got to get it in. Basically, I just brunched the games together on the first set here, and I went over the first 3. So I'll just finish with Minnesota and Toronto, and then I'll let you give your breakdown for these 4.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Toronto. The one Minnesota pitcher I really wish the Jays didn't have to face is the guy who's on the mound today, Smeltzer. He's been very good this year. He is 2-0 on the year, 1.5 ERA, and 4 games started, 24 innings, 7 strikeouts, not really giving up a lot of earned runs. He has been hit, though. 6 hits in his last game against Detroit, 5 hits against Kansas City. He's obviously going to be facing a better team here in Toronto. Gausman on the other side for the Blue Jays. Obviously, a pitcher I want to back. Second in odds right now to get to win the Cy Young for Gausman here. Won his last 2 starts. Did give up 3 earned runs, 6 hits, and 5 innings against the White Sox in the last game, but was able to get the win. The Blue Jays team is hitting right now, but I think it's going to be a lower scoring start to the game. So I am on Minnesota Toronto first 5 under 4.5 at minus 105. Smeltzer has been really good. I think he may frustrate the Jays a little bit, and I think Osman will hold the Twins at bay here. So I think we get a kind of a low scoring first 5, and then the floodgates could open after that. But I'm also on Toronto run line minus 115. I think when it does go to the second half, the way the Twins have used their relief pitchers the last 2 days, and the fact that they're out a few relievers due to injury and not being able to play in Toronto, I think the Jays, Romano hasn't had to pitch the last 2 days, which is good news for that as well. So I think the Jays may actually have a bullpen advantage in this game. So I like them to win the game by 2. I like the first 5 to be low scoring, and that's basically it. And then my parlay piece, which I'll give out early, Teoscar Hernandez. When he came back from injury, he was pretty rough. It was pretty rough watching him. I got semi worried there for a bit, but quickly now I'm 8 or 9 game hitting streak. I don't know exactly. I believe it's 9 or 8. It's 8 or 9, but he's been hitting the ball great as of late. It's been great to see. So I'll take him to get a hit as my parlay piece, but we'll get to that at the end. Bryant, these first 4 games, anything you like in them?
Yeah. Arizona Pitt. I'm gonna keep it simple. It's Zach Gallen on the F5 money line for me. He's the better pitcher. Somehow, some way, I cannot stress this enough. Somehow, some way, the Pirates or not the Pirates, but the Diamondbacks find ways to get runs, despite them not having a single notable individual player on that team. They just figure it out. But I think this play is more about Zach Gallen being Zach Gallen. I think he's a very real live candidate for the NL Cy Young. Ultimately, I don't think he's going to get the run support. He probably needs to get the wins. But I think that he will do his part for the most part to keep that there. You can get I say you can, but I got the F5 run line minus a half at minus 110 on my book. You got about 20-ish minutes to get that in. That's my particular play there. Cleveland, Baltimore. I've got nothing. I would lean towards Baltimore, honestly. At plus money, they're at home. Plezak's home and road splits are vastly notable. So much so that, like I said, I don't really. There's nothing there to give me any indication that I would that I would back the Guardians there. It's really just the Orioles. They put together some games at home. They hit the ball a lot better at home. So if I was going to make a play, I was going to go there. What else we got? We got Philly, Los Angeles. I'm still kind of torn on this particular play. I personally want to go with the Angels here. Sandoval, you're getting them at plus money as well. Sandoval, I think let me just double check on this real quick. Sandoval's a really good lefty. He's been pretty solid. He had a rough kind of go at it last week when he faced the Toronto. I think that was the game that they ended up losing ultimately, right?
He gave up 5 earned runs.
Yeah, but it wasn't he when he left the Angels were able to fight back, and he got a no decision because of it.
Yeah.
But obviously the Angels ultimately ended up losing that game. This is a spot they've lost 10 straight games. 10 straight for a team that has arguably, I wouldn't even say arguably, they are the two best players in the sport. But the pitching sucks, man, and the lineup's just not hitting right now. They're just not they are not in a good spot, and they are very much in real danger if they don't figure out some way to right this ship here in the next 2 weeks. You know, before they know it, they'll be 5, 6, 7 games behind. The Astros, even, it'll be even more, the lead will be even bigger than it is. Random, I just need to interject this. Shout out Joey Gallo. The Yankees have tied the game up. It's 2-2. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, because Richie P and Nick had the first 5 Tigers, so they got that. And I am on Yankees full game and 2 parlays, so I like to hear that.
Joey Gallo just tied it up in the bottom of the 5th inning. I know they're going to
Oh, no.
Yeah. I
Bottom
know
of the 5th. Oh, I thought they got it.
No, it was bottom of the 5th inning, man, and it was 2 outs.
Oh, no. Oh, shoot. Okay, sorry, guys. That's rough.
That is rough. I only had the Yankees in a parlay with some other picks and stuff, so it was just the money line. So I was cool just sweating it out. I knew the Tigers would eventually fold it. But anyway, yeah. I want to take the value here at +0.5, or them on the money line at 5 at -110, because I think that Kyle Gibson is very hittable. But at the same time, the Phillies look rejuvenated since they fired Girardi. So I think ultimately when I settle down on this game and I really take a good long hard look at it here, I guess I only have like 20 more minutes. And I might just make it while we're on the show. I think I might just lean with the over. Bullpens are bad both sides here. Even if both pitchers, who are decent enough to get you, 3, 4, 5 innings of solid, maybe 1 or 2 run ball, we get to the bullpens and this game just opens up 8.5 with these two offenses and these two bullpens. It seems really low, all things considered, especially with how bad both bullpens have been lately as well. I think that's where I'm going to lean with it. Is just go 8.5 and eventually let these bullpens melt down and let's hope for some runs. So that's it for me. And then, Toronto, Minnesota. I'm going to keep it simple with that. It's Kevin G on the mound. That's my dude. I love watching him pitch. You get in the run line at -120. I know it's kind of crazy because Smeltzer's actually been pretty solid, all things considered. I still like them on the run line here. I personally, like I said this last week when Toronto was in LA, they're starting to come around as a whole. I know they had that midweek series against the White Sox. They looked really good. They were able to figure out some games and get some wins and some tough little spots here and there. But I like the Jays on the run line here at -120, and I would even also add that I'm going to take the Jays team total over 4.5 at -135 as well. They're at home. They're a much better hitting team at home, it looks like, this year. Or they're starting to look like that, at least. So those are my plays for that.
All right, sorry. The Angels Philly too. One thing to help with your over is Phillies are good against lefties.
Yeah,
fifth against lefties, and Angels are good against righties.
And I think that's why, I'm like, do I really want to go with Sandoval and just root for runs? Because rooting for runs is a lot easier than rooting for a pitcher to get you through 5 innings. Like it's just so much easier because especially when you have bad bullpens, like you can just say, all right, I know so-and-so is going to give up 2 runs here and there. So.
Yeah. I took Phillies first 5 run line just because the manager change. I'm wondering if the Angels are considering. It's too early to tell if it's been 2 games for Philly. It's way too early to tell anything, but it has been like a difference. You
and like maybe the Angels are looking at the same thing, but
maybe the Angels are thinking.
Yeah, I think ultimately they can't though, man. Madden is too prideful of a dude, and he's got too much cred in baseball for them to do him like that. And I think also they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt this year because they still didn't get him enough pitching. I don't care what anyone says. Noah Syndergaard is not going to cut it. If they go for it and they get Zach Gallen, or someone like that during the trade deadline, I'll believe it, and then I'll sit there and be like, all right, they're truly committed to winning. But like this pitching staff still isn't it. It doesn't matter what they say. The bullpen isn't good, and the starters aren't good enough yet. So
Yeah, I agree. We'll go on to the second set of games here. The White Sox in Tampa Bay. In this one, Giolito and Yarbrough. I didn't really get anything in this game. I don't really have a good feeling about it. I could see either side winning. This one just didn't sit well with me. So I'll skip it really. Houston and KC. Valdez against Heasley. Heasley has not been good. I have made money fading him. Houston, I wasn't on them yesterday, and I'm glad I wasn't on them yesterday because they kind of pooped the bed there a bit. Valdez here, I think they bounce back, especially against Heasley. I think this is a good bounce back spot. Valdez has won his last 3 starts against Oakland, Cleveland, and Texas, going nine innings against Oakland, 7 innings against Cleveland and Texas. Gave up 1 earned run and 2 hits against Oakland, 6 hits, 1 earned run against Texas, and then 3 earned runs and 7 hits against Cleveland. He's been pitching pretty well, and Heasley is not. So I'll take the much better team in Houston to bounce back after a pretty rough game. Yes, sorry. What game were we on? White Sox is. For some reason, White Sox and Tampa. Okay, sorry. This was typed in. There were 2 games that were typed in wrong here. San Francisco, Miami. Not really a lot of an opinion on this one for me. I'm trying to find it here. Junis against Garrett. Junis has pitched pretty well this year for the most part. Garrett, not a lot of numbers on him. He hasn't pitched this year yet. Former first-round pick, picked 7th overall. 2-3 in his career with a 5.18 ERA, but he hasn't really pitched this year, so there's not really much on him for this year. So I kind of passed in this game. San Francisco probably the better team. They are the better team, but just nothing in this one for me. Washington, Cincinnati, Corbin against Castillo. I know people really like the over in this game. It's a 9.5 right now, minus 120. And I can definitely see fading Corbin. Just not one that I wanted to get to here. Obviously, the Reds do have the pitching advantage with Castillo, but just kind of being a little bit more selective. So didn't get to anything this one. And then San Diego, Milwaukee. The Padres team really came through for me yesterday. First 5 money line. First 5 money line and full game money line. It was a great game yesterday. Now they're facing Lauer. It's Clevenger versus Lauer. A really good pitching matchup here. I'm taking the first 5 under 4, which I got for minus 115. And I'm also taking San Diego first 5 money line, which I got at plus 105. The Padres are pretty good against lefties. Against Lauer here. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the value here is with San Diego. I didn't take the full game, just first 5, but I do like them in the first 5, and I like a low-scoring game. Bryant, middle set of games here. What do you think here? You're muted.
The White Sox, Rays. I need to get on my soapbox for just a few moments. Dylan Cease really, really did me dirty yesterday, man. I cannot stress this enough. Dude walked like 6 guys yesterday in his 5 innings of work, and was getting out of jams left and right. And Of course, I had the White Sox F5 um, plus a half. It was at minus 125. Literally, all he had to do was just get out one more. He walked himself into another one. And that the bottom of the fifth inning, he gave up a run, and that kind of screwed me because then the White Sox had no chance to tie the game back up to cash it. So I don't know. And he had that big blow up start against the Red Sox. So I'm gonna put Dylan Cease on my no bet list for a little bit. But with that being said, they end up winning the game, which made me upset because then I should have just went ahead and took them on the money line full game. But I like Giolito here. Giolito's pitched pretty well. That start against Toronto, he was actually pitching pretty solid. And that fifth inning, you and I were in constant communication about that because we had the F5 there, and it just went to bed. I mean, he crapped the bed in that fifth inning. Alejandro Kirk, who finally came through for me in a good way for once. He stuck a dagger in my back so many times before. He came through with some big hits. Teoscar Hernandez as well. It just kind of fell apart for him. I don't think that the Rays offense isn't as good as the Blue Jays. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, Planet the Trop sucks. As a American League East fan of an American League East team, you and I both know this. It sucks to play down there. It's just something about it. But I like the White Sox here, at least on the F5. I don't really like Yarborough. The lefty numbers don't play well, especially against the White Sox, who over the last couple of years have been really good against lefties. And also, again, they lost the game yesterday that they really should have won. Like they should have blown the White Sox out. I mean, Cease gave up 6 walks. So you can't let a guy walk you 6 times and you get 1 run off of him. That was kind of the difference, really. They only got, or they maybe got 2. I think it was 2. But a guy walks you 2 times, or walks you 6 times, and you only get 2 runs off of him, and then you blow the game later in the 8th inning. Top of the 8th inning, they scored 3 runs and they end up closing you out. That's a very bad loss for a Rays team that is chasing the Yankees. The Rays are not the Rays, but the Jays are getting hot as well. They're starting to round into some sort of form. You can't lose that game. And now you toss in a soft lefty against a team that mashes lefties, and they have a solid pitcher who's he has a better control than Dylan Cease does. So I like the White Sox on the F5 money line. I think if you want to juice it and get some, eat a little chalk and add it to a parlay, you can get the plus a half at minus 165. I don't think it's that bad if you mix it with other things that are more reasonably valued. But yeah, those are my 2 plays there. San Fran, Miami. I'm not really a big fan of Braxton Garrett. The Giants seem to have woken up their bats recently, which is a good thing. Yes, they lost yesterday. Logan Webb kind of folded in that 5th inning as well. Luckily, I was able to cash that F5 run line before he did. It was 4-4 at the end of 5. I like Junis here. He fought hard against a Phillies team in his last start. Kept it at 1 run, and then they were able to cash the F5 for me in Philly as well. He pitched well against the Cardinals earlier this year as well. I like the kid. It's not someone that I would probably back full game, but I think that he can do enough to keep this Miami offense at bay. And with the way that the Giants are starting to swing the bats as a collective, it works. It works for me. So I'm gonna take them there, and I was able to get that price at the F5 run line price. It's at plus 105 for minus a half. I like that here with the Giants. I'm willing to take the plus money. If you want to play it safe, and if things don't work out and the game is tied up to 5, you can get the minus 130. You get a push, so it's no skin off your back really. But ultimately, I like the Giants on the F5 run line at minus a half, plus 105. I think they have the better pitcher here, and their offense is probably performing better than the Marlins have been of late as well. So that's my play there. Washington, Cincinnati. It's honestly, I think it's the Reds F5, or you gotta get out The Reds bullpen is not trustworthy enough to take them full game. And at minus 180 on the Reds, with everything we know about them this season, I get it. They're playing better. They don't deserve to be that minus 180 against any team in the MLB. I don't care how good they've looked over the last three weeks or a month or so. Like, that's just ridiculous. There's no way I'm taking that. And I feel like almost inclined, like if you're going to take them minus 180, you might as well just take them on the run line and try to maximize as much value as possible. Like I don't see why you would go minus 180 instead of just plus 105 and just have them try to win by 2. That just doesn't make any sense to me if you think they're going to win. And they're playing the Nats and Patrick Corbin's on the mound. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm not really playing anything in that game. I'm going to stay away from it. But I highly suggest people stay away from that minus 180. There's no reason to do that. Framber Valdez, John Heasley in this Royals-Astros game. Valdez is their second best pitcher behind Justin Verlander. It's kind of evident with the price tag here. You get minus 230. I want to believe the Astros are going to cash on the full game run line, but at minus 145, I don't really like that. So personally, I'm going to stay away from that, and I will either look at the minus 2.5, which is even money, or I'm going to go with the F5 team total over 2.5 at minus 130. I think they get to Heasley. The kid's not bad, ironically enough. He's still finding consistency and finding and locating a strike zone. And if that's the case, the Astros are the last team you probably want to face as a youngster in the MLB. They're very patient hitters. Their walk rate as a lineup is pretty high. They'll be patient and they'll let him run himself into danger. Ultimately, that's why I said I think I'm gonna make a play on the F5 team total over 2.5. I think he could be due for a blow up inning. It might not knock him out the game, but 2 runs here, maybe 2 runs in the second, maybe a run in the 5th. It'll cash it for us. And then that way you're not eating the juice with a minus a half of like at a price of minus 160. That's ludicrous. Especially with KC at home. KC's one of those teams that they'll play at home and they'll beat you like 8-0 and you won't even know what happened. They're just weird like that. So I'm going to stick with the team total here and just root for the Astros runs. And lastly, Padres Brewers. My only play in this is I've got the Brewers on a money line. I've screwed up twice this series. I had the Padres team total over 3 as my best bet on Friday. That cashed. It was plus money. That was ridiculous. I didn't understand why they had that. It was a great play though. And yesterday I faded Mackenzie Gore and the dude absolutely pitched his ass off. So I don't really have a good read for this series. This is this is one of those series where you keep missing, like every game you miss like one thing and you're like, how am I not getting this? So I'm gonna go back to the well today. I'm going to back Eric Lauer. I have a little bit more faith in him. The Brewers can't get shut out 3 games in a row, can they? Like I just refuse to believe that they get shut out 3 games in a row. I can't see it. I don't want to believe it happens. And I think that's partly why you have Lauer at minus 125 for the full game for the Brewers here. Because I just there's no way you could sit there and rationally say that they shouldn't be higher considering how well Lauer's pitched relatively the entire course of the season. Clevenger is Clevenger. He's actually a pretty solid pitcher in his own right. He's obviously coming off of injury. Still working himself back from that, but I just got to believe that the Brewers got a little bit more pride in themselves to not get swept and at least put some runs up. Maybe that's a safety play right there, and it might be my parlay piece for this show. They've got to put some runs up. Like you can't get shut out twice. So I'm gonna go with the Brewers simple money line. Like I said, it's minus 125. let's root for the Brewers here, and that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Hopefully they give up runs late. San Diego first five money line and the under 4 for me, but San Diego's closer, Rogers, has been
Lights
pretty
out.
rough. No, rough.
Oh, lately?
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Rogers,
I didn't check the
their closer.
splits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
I didn't
last
check
like 3 games have been really, really bad. So that could be good for your Milwaukee, as they could get the win there late. So
that's the thing that's been kind of pissing me off about them in this series is I think maybe they won one game. They won one game. It was the first game that I think they played on Thursday. It was a 4-game set, and they won that in the late in the inning or late in the game. They got to the Padres bullpen, and these last couple of games, man, they're not able. They're giving up early runs, and then their offense is not fighting back. And I have a gripe with the offense because the offense just isn't good. It's very boom or bust, right? So like they are like top 5 in the home runs, but if they're not hitting home runs, they can't put together rallies, and that's I think ultimately going to be their downfall. Big picture wise, is they can't sustain offensive like rallies. They don't have the hitting prowess. Like they have no one on their team is like hitting above like 275. That's not going to cut it, man. You're not going to do much in the playoffs with that, especially when you have to go up against the Mets. The Cardinals pitching it's pretty solid, decent. You got the Dodgers in that bullpen. That's just not going to work. And the Braves, we know the Braves bullpen is solid, and we know their starters are pretty solid. It's just not going to cut it. So unless they figure that out, they're screwed long term. But
yeah, we'll jump on to the last 5 games here before we get to hockey. No, I don't really have a whole lot in these ones. The first game I do, though, Martin Perez, he has been great for Texas. A big surprise this year. He's pitched just excellent. So I'm going to back him first 5 money line minus 118. I think Texas is leading after the first 5. I don't overly trust Texas enough to take the run line. That's why I'm going with money line. Minus 118 is a good price to back Perez. So I'm going with the money line here in that one. Atlanta, Colorado, another first 5 play. Colorado first 5 plus a half at minus 108. No, it's not Shaq Gould today, but Feltner has been good. He in his last 3 games, so he won his last game against Miami, 4 hits in 7 innings, 1 earned run. That was in Colorado. The other 2 road games against Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, not so good starts, but those were on the road. He pitched pretty well against Miami at home. And Colorado has done pretty well the first half the games against Atlanta in this series. So I'll take the first 5 plus a half at minus 108 and hope for a tie game at the minimum. Boston, Oakland, not touching this one. No interest. I haven't really had any interest in this series at all. I think there's a pitching advantage with Oakland, but I just don't want to back this Oakland team. Mets, Dodgers. The Trey Turner hit streak came to an end. The Dodgers lost yesterday. It is a lefty-righty split here. Dodgers are great against righties, which they're facing in Williams. Mets are not very good against lefties, which they're facing in Urias. However, Urias hasn't really been that good. He's 3-5 in the year. For some reason, he loses more than he wins. So even though the Dodgers are facing a righty, Mets are facing a lefty, I didn't get to anything in this game. It's ultimately a pass because I don't really want to back Urias here. And then the night game, Wainwright against Steele, Cardinals against Cubs. This is a Cardinal spot for me.
yes,
I have them in both of my parlays, and I will go over those here. Actually, I'll go over those right now. The first one, the Yankees with Toronto, Houston, and St. Louis, plus 389. And the second one, a smaller bet, of course, on this one, Yankees, Arizona, Toronto, Houston, San Diego plus 1.5, and then the New York Rangers plus 2.5, and the hockey game plus 762. But obviously a small bet on that one, just kind of a for fun parlay. But I do like the Cardinals here, and I may end up getting to something involving them, maybe in the run line. We'll have to see here later on. Bryant, the final 5 games of the day. What do you think here?
Yeah. I think ultimately for me, there are a couple games that I am like honing in on right now. Um, one being, well, yes, I agree with the Texas money line. I'm going to take Texas. You get minus a half with the Rangers. They got their best pitcher on the mound. Martin Perez is very much a very live Cy Young candidate at this point. I love Kirby. I've backed him. I've been on the show a couple of times, and I've advocated support for him. His most recent start against the Orioles was really good. They actually blew the doors off of him when he started. He pitched really well. Um, I like the kid, but Martin Perez is better. You get the Rangers at home, and you're basically saying, "Hey, rookie, take on one of the best pitchers in the American League right now, and you have to match him strike for strike." He's a rookie. He's going to be susceptible to some bad innings. He'll walk a couple guys. He'll give up a couple of runs. Um, and this Rangers team, they're actually a fairly decent in terms of just raw talent. They're a fairly decent offensive team. Simeon has not performed up to the money that he got this offseason. Seager's starting to figure some things out, I believe. They got a couple other guys in that lineup as well. So if you're going to sit there and say you get Martin Perez, you can get plus money for the Rangers to be up by 1 run come the bottom of the 5th inning. I'm going to take that every time, just considering the pitching matchup in itself. So that's where I'm going to go with it. It's just going to be that F5 run line for me. Atlanta, Colorado. Uncle Charlie is on the mound. That's my dude. He has cashed a lot of money for me over the last month or so. So at minus 155, that's a better price than he had against like the Giants and a couple other teams that he's played against. I don't know if that's partly because he's playing at Coors Field and they like bake in that Coors Field tax into into betting lines. But I like the Braves here, man. Morton's good. Morton's pitched in the National League for a while now. He knows how to matriculate and navigate a lineup like this at Coors. He knows what Coors can do to you offensively. Minus 155, that's about my cusp. But I love this Braves lineup enough, and I love their team makeup and just in general enough to eat it. So I'll go with the Braves here on the money line. I think you can also go first 5 run line as well. I don't think that's all too crazy. In this Oakland game with Boston, I don't want to back Rich Hill. I'm off it. The last couple times I got in on it. It's not been good. Frankie Montas is a better pitcher, point blank. Period. He's probably going to be right up there with Zach Gallen as the 2 main names to be floated in trade talks. I doubt that the Diamondbacks will trade Gallen. So at that point, I really think Montas, given the Oakland A's outward notion that they want to trade, like notable pieces right now and basically break it all down, Montas is going to be the first name that pops up for everyone who's looking for a pitcher. He's performing as well, and every start that he turns in that's good. It's just raising his value up. So I like the Athletics here, and the only reason I like the Athletics here is because I just trust in Montas, and because I trust in Montas, minus 110 is cool. I don't know if I trust him for the full game, but at minus 125, I'm cool with that. I am very cool taking the Athletics on the money line at minus 125 for the F5. I would lean to the under 4, but I don't trust Rich Hill anymore. Like I don't know what he's going to get. He could very well give up 3 runs in the first inning to a very bad Athletics offense. It's just because that's I think where he's starting to become as a pitcher. Like you just don't know what you're going to get. And if you're going to be 40 and throwing like 72 miles per hour, like you better figure some things out because that's just not it's not going to work out if you're not going to be able to get swings and misses, and he's not. So it's really the athletics F5 right here or bust, or maybe even a team total. If you're not all too sure of the Red Sox bullpen, which is a very valid concern. They've had some horrible moments as a whole. You can get the athletics team total over 3.5 at -105. I think that's a very live bet as well, all things considered. So that's my play and a lean right there on that team total. We've got the Dodgers and the Mets. Urias is on the mound. We need to have a dialogue about the Dodgers pitching because the two guys that were supposed to be the aces don't look like that. And Tyler Anderson looks much more like an ace than Walker Buehler and Urias now. Every start he's putting in, he's doing work.
Come on now, Alex. I know you're a Boston sports fan, but come on now.
I'm not even going to get into entertain that, but I want to take the Dodgers here. I think they're a money line parlay piece, but in terms of me pushing like units towards this in any like serious shape or fashion, it's a no. Urias just lost to the Pirates in a spot that I thought was going to be a perfect bounce back opportunity for him. They ended up losing to the Pirates that night and they ended up getting swept to the Pirates in general. Trevor Williams is not a great pitcher either. So I think in saying that, maybe there's real value in taking the F5 over potentially, giving each guy's propensity to give up runs.
Oh no. Sorry to interrupt, but the horrible play in the Blue Jays game. That's 1-0 Minnesota. Sorry.
Oh, well.
Hernandez just dropped the ball. That was bad.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's okay. I have Toronto. I have Toronto in a money line parlay, so I'm not really too worried about a run.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. That's why I was really reacting. Like, oh.
Yeah. You're good. You're good. I ultimately think, like I said, I think that if you're gonna make a play in this Dodgers Mets game, the F5 over is 4.5. I don't see anything wrong with betting that. It's a -120 for the over. I think if you're going to make a play on the Dodgers, you go with the Dodgers you trust their offense a little bit more and trust Urias just a smidge more to get your run after 5 innings. And you can cash the -half at -135 as I'm seeing it on my book. I have no qualms if anyone faded Urias here, though. I would not be mad at you, and I would not say, well, it was a stupid play. It's not. It really isn't. So that's a toss-up game. Even though the Dodgers are -180 favorites. Like I said, I'm gonna lean towards the F5 over 4.5. Maybe lastly, we got the Cubs and the Cardinals, the old NL Central rivalry. It's gonna be the Sunday night game. This is a Cub, or not a Cub. This is a Cardinal spot for me. Wainwright's on the mound against his old rivals. This Cardinals offense is they're piecing things together. If I'm not mistaken, Justin Steele is pitching, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's a lefty, and you know how we feel about the Cardinals and lefties. I'm taking the Cardinals. I'm going to take them on the money line, -135. I'm also going to take a good, long, hard look at the Cardinals team total over 4.5. I think both bullpens are relatively tired. Doubleheader yesterday. The game before that on Friday, Cubs had to go in there. They got 15 runs put on their head, I think. It was bad. I think both bullpens just as a whole are tired. So if Wainwright runs into trouble, I think this ends up becoming a slugfest, and who can get outs more and who can put up more runs. Ultimately, I trust that threesome of Gallegos. I can't remember the other kid's name. But there's like a threesome in that Cardinals bullpen that's like their late inning guys. Obviously Giovanni Gallegos is the closer. But I trust them a little bit more than I trust the Cubs. Even though the Cubs have a pretty solid bullpen, all things considered. I just think both bullpens are taxed right now. They need an off day. Um, I think the over full game is a very real play, despite the fact that I do believe the Cardinals ultimately win the game. Um, but I'm going to take the Cardinals on the money line at -135, and I'm also going to take the Cardinals F5 or not F5, but team total over 4.5 at -110. Um, and I think with any Cardinals picks right now, you have to absolutely have to. You have to go look at Goldschmidt player props for total bases.
Mhm.
There's a trio. I should have said trio. That was a very very bad word choice. But I think with the Cardinals, you have to look at Goldschmidt player props right now. He's got to be the NL MVP. He just keeps delivering. And I say this as a Yankees fan. Like I love what Aaron Judge is doing, but Paul Goldschmidt is doing just the same. He might not be hitting the home runs, but the dude is getting on base. He's driving in runs. He's getting hits. He's doing everything for his team right now. And like prayer props right there and him are pretty much money at this point. So much so that I mean, like you're getting over 1.5 total bases from hits at -106 with the hottest player in the National League. I think that's worth a risk right now. Like I just that's like some of these things are like the price works out, and considering like what you're going up against, the fact that he's a righty, he hits lefties really well, and the Cardinals as a whole hit lefties really well. Um, I feel like that's something you gotta throw just a little something on. You don't have to break the bank and put the mortgage on it, but sprinkle a little something on Goldschmidt's total bases over hit or from hits over 1.5 at -106 is kind of like it's like an auto bet. Like you got to. So those are my plays for this last little group.
All right. Yeah, I may look to player props for the last set of games, depending on how things finish off here. We'll get to the hockey game, and then we'll get to best bets. The Rangers +160 are in Tampa Bay -180, a total of 5.5 here. Surprisingly, we got 24 votes, but the Rangers money line has grown here a little bit than what it was earlier. Tampa Bay in regulation 45.8%. Rangers money line 25%. Under 5.5 16.7, and 12.5% on the over 5.5 here from the poll. This is what I'm thinking here. So I think Tampa Bay, they're down 2 games. Obviously, they're at home. They're going to come out strong in the first period. I like Tampa Bay first period run puck line, which -0.5 to be leading by 1 after the first period, which is +155. I think we get a really strong effort from the Lightning. But one thing I haven't seen from the Lightning is a full 60 minutes of hockey in either game versus the Rangers. I get it. People are talking about the home and road splits. Rangers aren't as good on the road as they're at home. Most teams in the playoffs aren't as good at home or aren't as good on the road as they are at home. So obviously, Tampa Bay -180, Rangers +160. I think this is a little bit of a disrespectful price on this Rangers team. I think that's being a little bit overlooked this whole series. I am on Tampa Bay first period -0.5 +155, but I'm also on New York Rangers money line +160 full game. I won't be surprised if Tampa Bay is leading after the first, and then they don't play a full 60 minutes of hockey, and the Rangers battle back. I think this is a good spot to look for the draw as well. I know people like Tampa Bay puck line, but I just and they really like Tampa Bay, but I just haven't seen enough in the first 2 games of the series to back them. Like the Rangers have been the better team. The Rangers, Shesterkin's been the better goalie. So I just think there's value here on the Rangers full game. But I do think Tampa Bay comes out strong in the first period. Obviously, 2+ money plays just need to hit one of them to be profitable. So we'll see what happens there. Bryant, any thoughts here? Rangers and Tampa?
Yeah, I've I've bet the Lightning on both games and they've not come through. But I think this is I mean -180 is ridiculous considering how the series has gone so far. And I'm saying that as someone who has been on the Lightning the whole time. I agree. Um, I think the Lightning win the game, But if I'm gonna sit there and make a play in this game, I can't in good faith make a play on the Lightning minus 180 after they've lost 2 games to the same team. Like, and they looked exhausted in that, like, the final 2 periods of game 2. They look like they just have run out of gas. And it's not like we're just tired in this game. It just seems like in general, like fatigue as a whole is starting to get to him. But with that being said, my play in this game, if I'm going to back the Lightning in any way, ironically enough, Richie, I'm going to go against you there. I'm going to go with the Lightning first period. I'm going to go with the Lightning first period puck line, and I am getting that plus 135 minus a half for the first period. The Lightning are at home. It's gonna give them a boost. Like I know they've not looked good. These are still the defending champs. They're prideful, and they're coming home. If they're gonna sit there and try to figure out their way to get back in this series, they've got to come out absolutely guns blazing first period. And if they do, I like them to bring it to the Rangers. The Rangers are in a good spot where honestly, they can ease up in guys' minutes in this game because they've already secured basically 6 games of this series. Um, they've already solidified home foot or home ice advantage regardless of kind of what happens here. Um, I I like the Lightning first period puck line at plus 135. That's just it's good value. I'd rather do that than take the Lightning minus 180. And because that way, if the Rangers get knocked in the mouth in that first period and then come out and uh, throw right hooks right back at the Lightning in the next 2 periods, you made some nice little change, and that'll put your sorrows to rest if you doubled up on the Lightning money line. But I'm gonna take them on the first period puck line. Um, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. And shout out to DJ LeMay, Yanks up 3-2. I'm sorry again to the Earl brothers. I know you guys were in that F5, but yeah.
And no shout out to Gosman or the Blue Jays, who are down 3-0 after the
Oh wow.
first. So I'm kind of considering, should I give them as my best bet and be alive, because we are still live and the game is currently live.
I would absolutely do that.
So I could give them out. If I'm going to give them out, I'm not going to give them out at the price they were. I'm going to give them out at the live price, obviously, for best bets here. Currently plus 120 for the Jays, who are down by 3. So that's a pretty interesting case.
The Yanks were plus 140 when they were down 2-0. And literally like a minute and a half later, they end up hitting home run to tie the game. And after that inning, the price went back up to 260. I was like, what in the world? Like, that's ridiculous.
Oh, wow. That's this. Yeah, I'm definitely not. Oh, they did get him out. Okay. Boom. Bottom of the first. Okay.
I would, if we didn't live bet it, you live it now, like right now, before the Jays start to at bat. Because if they get 2 runners on, that price is going right back down the gutter.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it as is, just because Smeltzer has been he's been good, but we'll see what the Jays can do. We'll go to the best bet segment here, and we'll start with dog of the day, as we always do here. For me, New York Rangers money line as my dog of the day. Nick is going with the Colorado Rockies, and Manny is taking the Baltimore Orioles for his dog of the day. I just skipped you, Ryan. How could I do that? Yeah. What are you thinking here? Any dogs you like today?
Yeah. My only dog that I am kind of interested in, ultimately is going to end up being the Mets. I'm very ham about it. I've been pretty good with dogs of the day, so I can afford this risk right here. I like the Mets in this spot. I don't trust the Dodgers enough to unequivocally write the Mets off. So Just for the sake of the show, I am going to put the Mets on the on my as my dog of the day. I think the matchup is a lot closer considering how Urias has looked, and everything else has kind of already happened. The only other dog I could think of would have been the Orioles and the Guardians, and I'm so glad I didn't suggest that because the Guardians are up 3-0. So yeah. Um that's it for me. So I'll go with the Mets here and take a little gamble on them.
All right. Over or under San Diego, Milwaukee, first 5 under 4 for me. I'm really glad that I went back and forth between the Jays first 5 under and this one. So I am really glad that obviously I went with this one and it hasn't started yet. Nick and Tim both went with Cincinnati, Washington over 9.5. Obviously, they got that in before the show started. And then Manny also went with Angels, Philadelphia over 8.5. Bryant, is there any total that you like today?
I've been thinking about this the whole show. Personally, my play here is going to be on the NBA Finals.
Okay.
My over. I'm gonna go with the over. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with the under 215. Last time I checked, it was like under like 218. It's steamed down, which is kind of telling me something here. So I'm gonna go with the Boston Celtics Warriors under 215 as my over under for today.
All right. I guess I didn't really put anything for the NBA Finals game 1. That was from game 1, but
Yeah.
game 2, I don't really have an opinion.
Yeah, I'm going with the Warriors here. I'm going with the Warriors on the spread as
Lead
well.
off home run from Springer. It is now 3-1.
See, I told you if you were going to do it, it was going to have to be in between innings because the moment they started taking in bats.
I didn't like that price plus 120, but I may lie bet the Jays, but I may wait and see how the rest of this game goes because obviously it's the first inning and there's a ton of runs. So hopefully nobody tailed my first 5 under 4.5 because that is dead. Well, it's going to be dead, but all right. Best bets, best parlay pieces. My best bet is going to be, I can't believe my best bet is on the Texas Rangers. If you told me that earlier on in the season, I would have said you're crazy. But best bet, Texas Rangers, first 5 money line, minus 118. Best parlay piece, Hernandez over half a hit. I would definitely still like that, even though it's live, if you're able to get it live. I like Hernandez to get a hit here. Nick is going with Tampa Bay puck line in the hockey game, Tampa Bay money line as his parlay piece. Tim chose Texas Rangers minus 1.5 full game, and the Blue Jays money line as his parlay piece. Manny went Cincinnati first 5 minus a half as his best bet. White Sox money line as his parlay piece. Bryant, what are you thinking here for best bet and best parlay piece?
My best bet is going to be the the plus 135 for the Tampa Bay Lightning first period puck line.
I think you can get that at plus 150 unless it's moved. I'll check it out, but I think you can get a plus 155.
Oh, I'll take that then. Yeah, that'll be my best bet. I just like the Lightning to come out guns blazing that first period. If they don't, they're cooked. They are cooked because you already have a team that's 2-0 up on you, and I would assume that the Rangers have to go into this game expecting that to happen. And if that doesn't happen and the Rangers are tied after the first period, or they feel like they can compete, they're going to win this game. They are very much going to win this game if they feel like the Lightning didn't try to come out and absolutely put them in a trash can. And so I'm gonna go with the vets, the 2-time defending champions that come out firing in that first period, get a little lead, and then After that, the rest is, whatever. But that'll be my best bet and my best parlay piece. Um, I guess I need to figure out something else. I'm just gonna put the Golden State Warriors as my best parlay piece. I Come on, we're talking Steph, Clay, Draymond. Um, they they blew that game. They wasted a very good opportunity to beat the Celtics when Jason Tatum was having a very bad game. Maybe he's probably not going to have a bad game this go around, but I also believe that at the same time, the Warriors will close the game out. They just didn't do it. That run tore them apart, and they couldn't bounce back from it. So I'm sorry, Alex, it's not happening. I love
Celtics
Jason
may be able
Tatum.
to win this, but hey, you have to expect Golden State at home, like Tampa Bay.
Come
You have
on,
to
man.
expect it. You have to expect them to put out an effort today.
They are. I think if anything, the game one showed that the Celtics could very well win this series. People were talking about the Warriors in five, all that, blah 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 blah. I think that the Celtics doing what they did in game one kind of put that all to bed. This would be a very competitive series. For reasons, I would not be rooting for the Celtics. So
You know what I
it's
may do is I may bet your best bet from a couple days ago, Golden State first quarter.
first quarter. That was
I'm thinking that.
clutch. They won.
That's what I'm
They were
thinking
up
right
by
now.
5. Yeah, they were up by 5 after the first quarter, and then it was a great solid bet because they were winning wire to wire. I don't think that they ever really trailed in that game or in that first quarter per se. But yeah.
Yeah, so I might think about that. But that is the show. That is not a home run from Vladdy. Oh, a little bit foul, but almost tied the game. No, I'm just kidding. But that is the show. Best luck to everybody tonight. Smash the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content. We appreciate all the support. And we will see you again tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. Have a good one, guys.